Well, I expect that we'll be playing the best team that we've played this year by far, in terms of strength in all areas. That's not the coach speculating or hyping the team. That's the numbers say that. You know, if you look at where they rank in conference standings, and at this time of year, the statistics that the ACC puts out, the ones that are really relevant are those that are that include only conference games, which it's a really good idea that they have, because it really shows you competitive comparisons. That is, you know, who the non-conference opponents were, whether they were really challenging opponents or not, don't affect those statistics. And when I was looking it over yesterday morning, I think it's 8 or 9 categories out of the 14 that they are like ranked 1 or 2 in the conference. So that spreads it across all areas: offense, defense, special teams, running the ball, stopping and run. They got very good talent on the team. Most of it's mature talent. There are very few young players playing. So it's talented, it's experienced, and I think the schemes are well put together and very challenging to play against.
When you look at the Marcuses for each team at quarterback, how do you compare how Vic and Higgins are similar or different?
I don't make comparisons between players. I just judge them in their own right. And obviously they're both two of the most important players on each respective team.
Al, if you look at the inside linebackers on both these teams, you might have maybe 4 of the best out there. You kind of think that as well?
There's for those fans of inside linebacker play, this will be worth coming to see.
Regarding with that, I don't know that he was trying to ask which of the quarterbacks was better necessarily, but style-wise, are they more similar or dissimilar?
Oh, so they're certainly more similar than they are different. They're multiple threats. Run, pass, scramble out of trouble, on the edge on bootlegs, strong arms, same school district.
Any obvious difference other than Vic might have an inch or 2 on it?
Not much, no.
He seems to be somewhat of a reluctant runner sometimes, and then it seems like in the past, like even in the Miami game or whatever, it seems like when they get frustrated by not being able to punch it in the red zone, they seem to put in plays to get him running. Like, if we can't do it anywhere else, Marcus run.
Well, he's got 450 yards rushing, so which is, other than Vince Young, probably right up there amongst the top of quarterbacks this year. So I'd question how reluctant he has been to run. They certainly do take advantage of his running skills in the red area, and certainly not out of frustration. A lot of them are first down plays. So now it becomes like single wing football. You've got an additional runner in the backfield with an additional blocker for him, and perhaps the fastest runner in the game. So, you know, it certainly creates a significantly different situation than you face in the red area against most teams.
Are you a believer in shadows at all?
In shadows?
Like a defender whose job is to stay home, and if he goes?
We've used them in the past.
What do you...
We used some last Saturday. Just so I am a believer. No, probably not. We're not going to use a shadow this week. We're going to use a net.
You're confusing it.
When you are breaking down a team and you have one game that is so unlike the other ones, as the Miami game was, and if you just treat that as an aberration and look for, or is that something where you say, hey, Miami just figured out how to beat this thing?
Well, you know, Miami, yes, Jeff, because really Miami's playing with a different deck of cards than most of the teams that are playing against Virginia Tech does. And so they're able to make, they were clearly, you know, it wasn't too much out of their norm for how they play, but they're clearly, their game plan for how they were going to play them is clearly different than most teams would feel comfortable attempting.
When you look at Tech's defense, is it the best defensive unit you've seen from them in recent years?
It's certainly the equal of any that we've seen. You know, it's I've read commentary out of Blacksburg that they say that it's the best. They know a lot more about it than I do, so I would certainly concur with that. There's some very, very good players on that defensive unit. Very good.
How important is the front four and what they do defensively? I mean, any more so than for any team?
No, I wouldn't say that it's the jobs that they're in, the roles that they play are similar by scheme than to other teams that we've seen this year, Jeff. But they do it very well. You know, they're disruptive in it. They fit the scheme well. But I think what has really improved even or made their defense even more difficult to operate against is the play of the two inside linebackers, and then I think the versatility that Anderson gives them is really a key. Not familiar with that he gets the degree of hype that some of the other players do, but he's a very good player, very versatile player.
Alan, Doug, I don't know if you'd finished your thought.
Pardon me?
I didn't know if you'd finished your thought.
Oh, sure.
Okay. What you guys have done the last couple of weeks, to some degree collecting yourselves after the North Carolina game, how much does that improve your chances going into Saturday?
Well, I'd say that from a confidence standpoint, and confidence being such a tremendous factor in competitive athletics, individually, there are many players whose confidence level should be up, and collectively, I think the team's confidence level is up. So that's as a direct result of playing pretty decently the last 2 weeks. Well, it depends upon who you have to take them away. You know, clearly Miami was able to match up in a way that they dictated that a lot of more challenging throws be made. Not everybody that's played against them has been able to, as I said earlier, play with that particular deck of cards. So there's a lot of kind of formulas in the book, you know, that you can pick out to deal with this type of situation. But the first thing you have to look at is what you're playing with yourself.
Can you do that as a defense? There are enough playmakers.
Well, I would say it's unlikely that we're going to try to play them like the Hurricanes did.
I know you don't like to make excuses, but how much of a difference does a healthy Wally London make in your offense?
Well, he certainly has proven to me, Jerry, over the last couple of weeks how valuable he is to the team, and probably has proven to me even more significantly than I thought watching him. Some of the games where I thought he was kind of ready to be back to Wally. Now that I've seen what he's done the last 2 weeks, I realize that there was still a good portion of his game that he wasn't able to bring with him.
You spoke at the Homestead about wanting Marcus to have some fun this season, to playing quarterback and relax. He's obviously had a good season. Has he done in that area what you wanted?
Yes, Jeff.
Is he a different quarterback than he was last year?
He you know, if you've been around him on, say, like in occasions when you were up there, and or if you see him come down the steps onto the practice field every day, you can see that this is a player with an awful lot of energy and awful lot of enthusiasm, and just likes football. And when he comes in the weight room, it's, you know, he's happy to be there early in the morning to be lifting weights. He's happy for the off-season program. He's happy to come to practice. He enjoys football tremendously, and he's just got an engaging spirit about him on top of that. And that's really been evident here throughout the course of the season. And so he has, yes, and I guess in summary to your question, he has really stayed on track with that he was talking to you about.
Al, considering how much the rivalry's grown, is it challenging to treat this just like any other game?
No, our prep, you know, I mean, look, 90 to 95 hours a week is 90 to 95 hours. You know, so when you say, well, how can all weeks be the same? I go and do the same thing every week. Okay, today we're working on first and second regular down stuff. Tomorrow we put the red zone stuff in. Thursday we do most of our nickel stuff. I got to do this. All the coaches do. We have to do the same work during the same time frame every week, and we're just dealing with different challenges and different issues from each particular team, whether they're personnel issues or scheme issues. What makes this week different is the quality of the players that we're going against. I think that as coaches trying to get our team ready, okay, that's what we're concerned about, is the challenges of the scheme that we're playing against or the quality of the players that are in it.
Do you not want your the kids from in-state Virginia to get too hyped then for this game? I know the fans make a big deal, we'll make a big deal, but what about, a lot of these guys know each other on both teams. Do you worry about them getting too hyped?
No, I think we have enough veteran players who've been through it. Hey, passion and emotion, they're an important part of football. The only concern that we would ever have is if the players didn't have energy and passion. Okay, so that's a good thing. We like them to have a lot of energy and a lot of passion and a lot of enthusiasm for each particular game. And that's, if you don't have that in this sport, then you've lost whatever percentage it might be. That just as close as it is, if you lose 5 to 6% of your game just on the basis of that, then you probably lost too much to compete.
Does last home game and the emotions that go with that present any challenges on that front?
I don't. They may, Hank. I don't know. That's too deep for me to try to figure out.
People talk about players taking ownership of the team. Is it possible somebody like Marcus really wears the team's fortunes on his sleeve? Is it possible to take too much of it on yourself?
You have to have a good perspective on it. That's really what Jeff was talking about before, and that with maturity at the position that he's had, he's this year been able to combine how important the team is. I mean, this is a great team player, who with him it's all about the team. It's all about winning. It's all about what he can do for his team. He's proud to put that jersey on every week, and so it means a great deal to him. And he has a particular pleasure when we win because the team does mean so much to him, and he takes it very seriously and very personally when we don't. But just on a 7-day-a-week basis, he really has enjoyed, hasn't felt the burden of playing that position or having that ownership in the team. He's really, I think, felt the joy of it and had a great time with it. I mean, he's better to ask than I am, but certainly as I try to observe a lot about what's going on with the players each week, that would be my observation of him here throughout the course of the season.
Made it pretty apparent that last thing you're concerning yourself with now is bowls. Some of us who've been around for a while have seen it become quite a mess in the past. Is there somebody who keeps you abreast of that? Is there anybody doing what needs to be done on Virginia's behalf? Or do you even inquire about that?
This position, Doug also has administrative aspects to it, and so that's part of my job description. There are things I'm supposed to be aware of, supposed to deal with, and talk to the appropriate people with, which we do. But as far as the team is concerned, then there's just the coach part of the job, and the coach part of the job is simply about trying to win each particular game and see if we can't use that as something to also be persuasive. But all that other issue, if you involve your team and all those other issues, okay, then I think you frequently find out those issues have something to do with your demise rather than your success.